Welcome back to FM Story. We're approaching the midway point of season 6 of this glory hunt to save. It's our third season with Man City, and as with last season, really the sole focus this season is the Champions League. To that end, we're doing okay so far. We're in 10th in the league phase. We've won 4 out of 5. Coming up in this episode, we've got the end of the league phase. So we've got a big game coming up against Tottenham first up in the league phase, and then we end the league phase with games at home against Slavia Prague and PSV. We're going pretty well in the other competitions. We're into the quarterfinal of the Carabao Cup, where we've been drawn against Luton. We are currently top of the league table, 7 points clear of Arsenal. And in the third round of the FA Cup, we've been drawn at home against Man United. So without further ado, let's get into the action. So as we said, first up, we've got a trip to Tottenham in the Champions League. We have pretty much a full strength side available. The only exception is Rico Lewis has been injured. He's fit enough to be on the bench, but not enough to start. So Jan Coupe was starting a right back, but otherwise it is pretty much our strongest team. We've played one game in the league since the end of the last episode. We won 3-0 at home against Fulham with a pretty much fully rotated team. So things are going well, and hopefully we can keep that up in the Champions League. There's very, very little happened in this game so far. We've got one booking and one shot. Right, Alphonso Davies with a throw for us. Wirtz to Gvardiol, Rodri into Xavi Simons, Musiala has a go from the edge of the area, but just hits the top of the net and couldn't keep it down. Right, a corner for them. Kulusevski to take it. Pulls it back to the edge of the area. Romero. I mean, that's just a stupid goal to concede. And the set piece coach has obviously changed things, because we did change the set pieces at the end of last season so that we had someone on the edge of the area after we conceded a couple of goals like that. But no one got out to really close down the guy on the edge of the box. No one closed down Romero, and they've opened the scoring with their first attempt of the game. And there we are, half-time, 1-0 down. And just basically not an awful lot happened in that first half, and we switched off from a corner. Right, we sent the same team out to start the second half to see if they can rectify the issue before we make any changes. Right, free kick for them into the box. They've got a head on it. That must be offside. I'm hoping that's offside anyway, because if it's not offside, we're in deep trouble in this game. And yeah, it's been disallowed. But they won. It's a straight ball. They win the header. And luckily, obviously, they'd straight offside. Right, so we've made 3 changes. Couto and Haaland were knackered. Musiala's done nothing. So we've brought on Rico Lewis, we've brought on Granelli, and we've brought on Matheus Nunes. Alphonso Davies down the left-hand side here. Gets to the byline, crosses, and there's Granelli practically with his first touch, heads home to level the game at 1-1. Alphonso Davies was just allowed to go down that wing, gets to the byline, cross into the centre. The keeper comes, gets nowhere near it, and Granelli just has an empty net to nod it into. Right, a free kick for them on the edge of the area. McGovern's taking it. And luckily doesn't get it on target. Right, Alphonso Davies on the left, into Wirtz, back to Wirtz again. He whips it in the far corner, and in the space of 5 minutes, we've gone from 1-0 down to 2-1 up. And now it's about holding on and making sure we get these 3 points. Just some interchange on that left-hand side of the box. Wirtz just lets it run across his body and then just whips it into that far corner. Right, Rico Lewis with a throw from the right. Matheus Nunes back to Lewis, into Ford, and Matheus Nunes in the box. And we've got a goal, an own goal. And that should be the 3 points secure now. A bit like the goal on the vertical. Something played this time on the right. Lewis into Foden, finds Matheus Nunes, who drives across the box. His low shot, crumb cross, hits Foyth and goes in. Right, throw for them, Udogie gets it back, crosses into the box. Alphonso Davies gets his head on it. It's still alive though. McGovern gets the byline, crosses himself. And Donnarumma turned that one away at the near post. Basuma wide. Foyth loses out to Wirtz, who lifts the ball clear. Granelli nods it down to Foden, and he drives forward with the ball. Rico Lewis, and we've just about survived that attack. Lewis with a throw. Matheus Nunes. Scalvini back to Lewis. Nunes making the run forward. Pulls the ball back to the edge of the box. Xavi Simons goes with a header from outside the box and it just dribbles wide of the post. And unfortunately, Florian Wirtz has picked up an injury to put a bit of a dampener on the evening, but in the end, we've managed to come away with the 3 points, 3-1 victory, and stands us in good stead for finishing in the top 8 of the league phase. We're now approaching the end of January. We've got our last game in the league phase of the Champions League coming up against PSV. And I think it's pretty safe to say that we've had a pretty horrible run since that game against Tottenham. We also have had some injury issues in that period as well. First up, we went away to Bournemouth. We lost Alphonso Davies, injured in the first half. Missed loads of chances. They got a late goal and we couldn't react. We then beat Luton comfortably with a reserve team basically in the quarter-final of the League Cup, and then we comfortably won at home against Norwich, and then the bad run started. So we lost 3-1 away at Tottenham in the league, with Rico Lewis getting himself sent off. We then lost 1-0 away at Liverpool. We did then manage to recover to beat Chelsea 3-2 at home. But then in the last game of the calendar year, we went away to Arsenal and got hammered 4-1. We started the new year with a comfortable 5-0 victory against Leicester. We lost the first leg of the League Cup semi-final 2-1 thanks to a 93rd minute winner, although we only equalised in the 92nd minute. We then managed to knock out Man United 3-0 in the third round of the FA Cup, but had Xavi Simons sent off and Erling Haaland missed a penalty. And then in the most recent Champions League game, we won 2-0 at home against Slavia Prague. So as far as the league's concerned, we've dropped down to third, but we do have 2 games in hand on the teams above us and we're 3 points behind. So hopefully if we can win those games in hand, it'll see us go top again. But obviously we've already won the Premier League twice now in this save, so it's not a key part of this season for us. However, the Champions League is much more important for us. We're currently sat in 4th position with 6 wins and a loss from our 7 games. The way it's looking at the moment, as long as we pick up a point in this game against PSV, then we will guarantee ourselves a place in the top 8, and the chances are we'll, even if we lose, we probably would just about sneak into the top 8. PSV, though, looking at them, they're down in 27th. A win for them may just about sneak them into the actual knockout stages, so they've got plenty to play for in this game so far, but they have only won 1 game in the competition, in the league phase at least this season. And so going into the game, we do have some issues. So Musiala's not available. Xavi Simons is out, and Rodri, Alphonso Davies and João Veloso dos Santos are both struggling as well. So we may have to have a patched up team, but it should be good enough to pick up 3 points at home. Well, this is the side we've picked for the PSV game. We've decided not to risk any of the players that were carrying knocks. There's no point, given where we're at in the league phase table. It's unlikely that even a defeat would see us drop out of that top 8. So we've gone with Lewis, Diaz, Scalvini and Gvardiol at the back, with Rio just in front of them instead of Rodri. Got Matheus Nunes and Oscar Bob in front of him, and Foden and Vert behind Erling Haaland, who's been a bit disappointing in the Champions League this season. He's played 6 games, started 6 games, only got 1 goal in the Champions League so far this season. Right, free kick for them. Veerman goes for goal. Ederson turns it behind for a corner. It's an in-swinger towards the back post. We've got a head on it. It's still alive, but looks like Vert has managed to get it clear. Right, a corner for us. Foden to take it. In-swinger to the back post. Haaland gets up. That's much more like it. And that's us 1-0 in front. Much more like it from Haaland. He's been a bit of a disappointment, especially in the Champions League this season. But gets up at the back post, gets above everyone, and heads past the keeper. Ruben Diaz with a free kick into Riho. Vert goes back. Matheus Nunes over the top. Right, Vert has won it. Gvardiol fires from outside the area. What a strike. 2 goals in 2 minutes there. And that's us 2-0 up. Try to play the way out of trouble, but Vert nicks it. Gvardiol takes it off him, drives towards the edge of the D, and then just fires past the keeper from distance. Not a lot happening in the game since that second goal went in. Ederson out wide to Rico Lewis with space. He goes back now to Ruben Diaz. Matheus Nunes looks for Oscar Bob, finds Gvardiol on the overlap, and there's Florian Wirtz in the box to divert it home and make it 3-0 on the stroke of half time. Ruben Diaz into Matheus Nunes, finds Oscar Bob. He sees Gvardiol on the overlap. He fires in a low first time cross. That's a great finish from Wirtz to make it 3-0. And there we are, half time 3-0. Pretty comfortable after the initial chance that they had from that free kick. And hopefully we can just keep it up in the second half and secure the 3 points. Make sure we finish in the top 8 to go straight into the last 16. Rico Lewis nicks the ball, loses out, but Matheus Nunes looks to find Haaland. It's cut out, only cleared as far as Lewis. Nunes back to Lewis, drives in a low cross. Haaland's effort has been deflected behind for a corner. Foden to take. In swing it again towards the far post, again aiming for Haaland. It's been headed clear. Vert picks it up, finds Gvardiol. Scalvini goes back to Rio. Vert infield finds Nunes. Haaland on the edge of the box, and he was offside. Right, Lewis with a throw, goes back to Ruben Diaz, who goes all the way back to Ederson. Plays it out to the left to Gvardiol. Scalvini back to Gvardiol. First time ball into Bob, drives into the box, and the keeper turns it behind for a corner. We made one change now, bringing on McHenry for Gvardiol, who's knackered. Foden into the near post. Haaland this time heads over the top. Goal kick for them goes long. Scalvini wins the header. Vert back to McHenry. Goes back to Ederson. Riho. Wide to Lewis. Ruben Diaz, back to Lewis, back to Rio. Try and entice them on so we can break. Nunes to Bob, wide to McHenry in acres of space. Back to Scalvini, McHenry to Bob, Scalvini, Rio, Bob, Scalvini, driving forward, finds Lewis on the right, into Nunes. The keeper's made a bit of a hash of that one, I think, but it's in the back of the net. We kept the ball well, moved them around. I actually thought Rico Lewis probably should have crossed the ball into the box rather than pulling it back, but Scalvini drives infield. Lewis is in space, just drops it into Nunes, who takes a touch. Keeper gets both hands to it by the looks of it, and it still goes in the back of the net for 4-0. Right, Foden with a corner, again aiming for the far post. Haaland keeps it alive. Finds McGran, back to Haaland, pulls it back to the edge of the area to Scalvini. Just drifts into the box and then just bends it into the corner. And that's 5-0. And we've putting on a bit of a show considering the bad run of form we've had over the last couple of months. Scalvini gets it on the edge of the box. Just, no one comes to close him down and just beats the keeper into his far corner there. And there we go, full time, 5-0. In the end, a pretty comfortable victory. I think they only had one highlight, which was that corner in the first half. Other than that, it was just wave after wave of our attacking, and we've secured our spot in the last 16 of the Champions League. And hopefully we can go one better than we did last season and actually win the competition. We're now at the end of January and the transfer window is closed. We didn't do much business. In fact, the only business we did do is Jeremy Doku, who left the club on deadline day on loan to Rennes. He's been nowhere near the first team picture this season. He wanted to leave, so he's gone out. No one wanted to buy him permanently, but he's gone out on loan to get some first team football. We've played one game since the game against PSV. It was a league game against Man United. We ended up winning 4-2. We had to come from behind twice. Erling Haaland got 2. Scalvini got 2 very, very late goals to turn the game around. It was 2-2 going into, or as we were approaching injury time, and then Scalvini scored in the 89th minute and the 91st minute to give us a 4-2 victory. As far as the league's concerned, it means nothing's really changed at the top. We're still 3 points behind because we've still got those 2 games in hand. Florian Wirtz has been the sort of standout player in the league this season. And obviously, as we saw, we ended up finishing in the top 8 in the league phase, so we've guaranteed our spot in the last 16, and now it's just a case of waiting to see who comes out the knockout playoff round and who we get drawn against. And there we are, the end of another episode. We're into the second half of season 6 of this Glory Hunter save, and once again, we've got ourselves in a good position as far as the Champions League is concerned. We've made it into the last 16. Now it's all just about who we draw and how we perform over a 2-legged tie. And hopefully we can make it back to the final like we did last season and go one better and actually pick up the trophy this season. Join us next time to see who we get in the last 16. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.